what's good with y'all? We're back. Today we're reacting to 10 worst crashes in F1 history. This is a random one. I'll be honest. I never watched F1 racing. I'll be honest. I've never watched it. I've never been into it. I don't know anybody who does F1 racing. I know a little bit of NASCAR. I don't even know much about F1s, but this was requested, surprisingly enough, by one person. So I'm going to respect your decision. Hopefully this is a good video. I don't really want to see crashes. That's probably bad. The screen's already opened up on somebody upside down. So yeah, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and let's get straight into the video.
And the roll hoop.
Wait,
and the
that's not supposed to. Why would they open? I don't. Okay.
halo,
Well, just
very
let it play.
much doing its job before the car digs in, and you do not ever want to see accidents like that.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today
I've
we're
never
looking
reacted
at
to a
the
Watch
10
Mojo video.
worst
Funny enough.
crashes in F1.
What? What? Bro, no. It's not. I can't laugh at this. This is bad. Are the people alive that get into these crashes?
To take place in F1.
That is
Sadly,
crazy.
Some of these crashes resulted in deaths. A content warning is now in
What is put into these small cars for that big explosion to happen?
these
I'm not
crashes
going
had you covering your eyes.
That is kind of
Be sure
crazy.
to let us know in the comments.
Oh gosh,
Lorenzo
this is about to be
Bandini
interesting.
at the 1967 Monaco Grand Prix. At the 1967 Monaco Grand Prix, Lorenzo Bandini was trailing in second place behind Denny Hulme when he lost control of the vehicle and crashed.
Now Bandini. Bandini's crashed.
Good Lord, look at that.
The car, it looks like it's upside down, Phil.
The car flipped and its fuel tank broke, which resulted in the car bursting into flames. Marshals struggled with rescuing Bandini as the flames constantly grew and made the task all the more difficult. Although Bandini was eventually pulled out of the vehicle, he had still sustained third-degree burns. He was taken to the hospital, but sadly he passed away 3 days later. He was 31 years of age. Gilles Villeneuve, the 1982 Belgian Grand Prix. Near the end of the qualifier session of this edition of the Belgian Grand Prix, Gilles Villeneuve aimed to improve his position and lap time, so he attempted to cut another racer. There was clearly confusion as to which side he should complete the maneuver. He went right and hit the vehicle he attempted to pass. Villeneuve's car flipped several times, and the subsequent impact was so devastating, it resulted in Villeneuve being launched out of the vehicle. He was rushed to the hospital, but hours later it was announced that he had passed away.
Bro, why am I watching this? Why am I watching this? Why am I what? What? I didn't know that many people died from F1. What? That is...
Jules Bianchi, the 2014 Japanese Grand Prix. In F1 races, one crash often leads to another, but none have been under such unusual circumstances. During a lap of this race, as a result of weather conditions, Sauber's Adrian Sutil would go off the track and hit a wall. A crane was used by marshals to remove the vehicle. During the removal process, Malaysia's Jules Bianchi wound up driving directly into the crane. He was unconscious and was subsequently placed in intensive care. He later passed away as a result of the head injuries he sustained during the accident.
Rest in peace to all these people in this video.
In the Formula
Rest in
One
peace.
paddock.
Ronnie
This
Peterson,
is-
the 1978 Italian Grand Prix. Crashing the vehicle he was meant to drive at the race during a practice session, Team Lotus's Ronnie Peterson was forced to drive an older model instead. Along with his vehicle facing technical difficulties, the main race began as the flag was dropped before all the cars were in their respective positions. The ensuing havoc and confusion caused by the error resulted in Peterson's vehicle colliding with a McLaren driven by James Hunt. Peterson's Lotus would then hit a barrier and burst into flames. Hunt and several crew members were able to get Peterson out of the vehicle and he was rushed to the hospital. The next morning, Peterson was pronounced dead as a result of a fat embolism.
This doesn't feel right reacting to this.
Romain Grosjean, the
This doesn't feel
2020
right.
Bahrain Grand Prix. It is truly a miracle that he survived and was able to escape an almost certain fate.
I thought about my kids and I said, no, I cannot die today.
Alberto Ascari, the 1955 Monaco Grand Prix. Trailing behind Sterling Moss in this race for the lead, Alberto Ascari was in luck when the engine of Moss's Mercedes broke down. The opportunity to take the lead, however...
My respect for F1 in general has just went from no knowledge of it to up here, because there's no way. There's just no way.
Was missed as Ascari's vehicle swerved out of control, crashed through a barrier and directly into the Mediterranean Sea.
Ascari has overshot the
He
chicane.
went into the...
The car has somersaulted straight into the harbour.
The car sank, but fans breathed a sigh of relief when Ascari appeared on the surface. He was subsequently rescued and hauled out of the water.
A motor launch has picked Ascari up, and he is brought over to the harbour side where an ambulance is waiting.
Despite the harsh nature of the crash, Ascari came out of the whole ordeal with a broken nose and some bruises. Wolfgang von Trips, the 1961 Italian Grand Prix. On the second lap of the Italian Grand Prix race in 1961, two cars on the track came in contact with one another. While one of the cars, driven by Jim Clark, came to a halt, the other, driven by Wolfgang von Trips, was spinning out of control and struck a section of spectators, 15 of whom were killed. Von Trips...
15 spectators were killed! Bro, no, this is, nah, I'm not gonna hold you. This gotta be the most dangerous sport. Is F1 racing considered a sport? I guess it is, since it's racing. 15 people don't die in rugby.
was thrown out of the vehicle and did not survive the accident. Despite this horrific sequence of events, the race continued, and Von Tripp's teammate, Phil Hill, went on to win the race. Some drivers only became aware of the crash and its severity after the race, leaving many to question why it had not been stopped. Niki Lauda, the 1976 German Grand Prix. One of the greatest and biggest stars to ever get behind the wheel. This Austrian legend was involved in one of the most horrific accidents in F1 history. During the second lap of the race, out of nowhere, Lauda's car swerved out of control and caught on fire. Several drivers and staff assisted in pulling Lauda out of the vehicle, but despite escaping, he received severe burns all over.
And the initial prognosis was that he had little chance of survival. The nature of his injuries was such that...
People enjoy doing this. Like, I understand, like, people like playing basketball. People like, you know, dribbling, shooting, whatever. If there was a cause of death in basketball, like I think there was one where some guy got punched and his blood started bleeding from his head. But that's from a fight. That's not from the actual sport. This is coming from the track, the sport, the car. This is the sport causing this. If there was a cause of death to basketball, I don't think too many people would be doing it. It's probably why I don't know much about it, because that is crazy. That is crazy.
Priest was called to administer the last rites.
Even though he was in critical condition and went into a coma, Lauda remarkably survived the ordeal and would make an incredible comeback after 6 weeks, and he later went on to win 2 more world titles.
I want to give him his respect, but if I get in a crash like that and half of my face is burned, my ear is burned, why am I going back into the sport? It's like I understand if you're a basketball and you tear you sprain your ankle or you like broke your arm or something, but you really, really, really love it, so you go back and you go into. But he went back and won 2 more. Usually with basketball players, it takes, gosh, I don't know, it takes. That's crazy. That's just, I have no words.
Ronnie Ratzenberger, the 1994 San Marino Grand Prix.
At the conclusion of this afternoon's final qualifying session for tomorrow's San Marino Grand Prix, I sadly have to report that the news is bad.
During a qualifying session of the San Marino Grand Prix in 1994, the nose wing of this 31-year-old's vehicle had gotten detached. The car subsequently went off the track and slammed directly into a barrier. Ratzenberger had suffered a skull fracture so severe he was pronounced dead shortly after medical staff arrived at the site of the crash.
It was the first time that we have to face a dead Formula One driver for our generation. The whole atmosphere was very heavy that afternoon, you know, and everybody was thinking about what are we doing here, or what's the point, you know.
Worst of all, many believed the tragedy could have been prevented, as Ratzenberger was aware of the issue with his vehicle, but opted to complete another lap instead. Unfortunately, this wouldn't be the last tragedy to take place at the 1994 Grand Prix in San Marino.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest video.
That's crazy that they threw a subscribe right in the middle. That is... Wow, we're going to use this as education though.
You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Ayrton Senna, the 1994 San Marino Grand Prix.
Senna! My goodness! I just saw him plunge off to the right. What on earth happened there? I don't know.
On lap 7 of the main race, Brazilian and 3-time champ Ayrton Senna had taken a comfortable lead over Benetton's Michael Schumacher. At one point coming up on the corner, he attempted to make a turn, only for his vehicle to skid off the track and crash into a wall. The accident was so devastating the car's front wheel and nose were torn off.
Ayrton ran out of luck. He did not have a broken bone in his body. He did not have any bruising. If that piece of assembly would have gone 6 inches higher or 6 inches lower, he would have walked back to the paddock.
Although he was pulled out of the vehicle, he was in critical condition, and despite receiving medical treatment, it was to no avail, and he passed away later that evening.
He was special. I mean, he was not...
Rest in peace to everyone in this video.
Everyone else.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other...
I did not enjoy that video. That just, it opened my eyes though. I always used to think like, oh yeah, rugby was the most dangerous sport. Or I heard, according to like chiropractors and stuff like that, that basketball is the one with the most injuries because there's no padding and stuff. And like in football, they have their padding and stuff. And in rugby, they're all strong. So like, but wow, that's something I did not know before starting this video. So I'll see y'all in the next video. That's crazy.
I'm just talking on this beat, like it's just you and just me. We can say the side of the beef.